Welcome to BrandsTalk, a show to help you develop and grow your brand in a more authentic and sustainable way, locally and globally. Whether it is your personal brand or company brand, your product or service level brand. You learn from thought leaders from different parts of the world, from CEOs, business owners, managers, and experts who tell their brand stories and share their valuable first-hand insights. My name is Brigitte Bojkowszky. I'm the founder and owner of Brigitte Brands, a branding strategy boutique offering online courses, workshops, and one-on-one sparrings. I help my clients and students craft meaningful strategies that effectively elevate their brands to unleash their full potential to shine. So let's get started and dive with me into the world of brands. My guest today is Krystal Hille. She is the founder and CEO of Hille House Publishing, a soul leadership coach and an international #1 best-selling author. She's passionate about gathering change makers and conscious creatives who align with her mission to awaken and empower humanity into deeper sovereignty and connection. She helps them to step deeper into their zone of flow and claim the essence of their leadership so their passion can ignite global change, enhance their authority, and reach through the vehicle of multi-author books. With 30 years in leadership, a background in theater directing, ancient tantric practices, and female empowerment, Krystal is a winner of the Career Brains Global Business Award 2021 and host of the Soul Leadership Podcast. I warmly welcome Krystal Hille. Welcome to BrandsTalk.
Thank you so much for having me, Bridget. It's just an honor to be here.
I'm also very happy that you are my guest today, Krystal. And we have something in common. We both speak German as a language. It's my native. I don't know whether it's your native
It's
language.
my native as well, yes.
Yeah, so that's what we have in common. But you, um, yeah, emigrated to Australia, and you are living there now. And I am right now in the United States. So, could you tell us a little bit about your background and your journey that brought you to Australia and what you're doing right now?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Germany, as we said. I was the daughter of a church minister and being put into that position of being the good girl. And freedom was one of my really strong values. And I knew I was a leader. I knew I wanted freedom. So there was a lot of conflict between those two things, being the good girl, wanting freedom, wanting to explore. So after school, I moved to England and also traveled in my 20s. I traveled to India, Pakistan, South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe. Also went to the States for a semester. I was studying English and theater studies, and I was in Rutgers, and then had a bohemian theater life in New York for a summer, which was absolutely amazing. I then became a theater director in England. I was working with the Royal Shakespeare Company in their education outreach program. I was touring with opera companies, and it was a really beautiful life. And I thought that's what I was going to do for the rest of my life, even though as a teenager, I'd always known that I was here to help people. There was this knowing, and it just, I thought I was going to study psychology, but I just wasn't ready. Like I needed to gain some life experience first. By the age of 31, the universe had taken away all of the busyness of my career, so that I needed to focus on my relationship. And then I realized it wasn't working. I had married for safety because it was such an important thing. And I wasn't aware of that at the time. But then I listened, and the universe gave me some very strong messages that I had to leave that relationship or that marriage. So by 31, I was divorced and was asking, what now? I gave myself a year to get back into theater, and I thought, oh, well, it's just going to come back because I've now done what I needed to do. But that didn't happen. I was like, okay, so universe, I've always been extremely spiritual and co-creating and tuning in. And I was asking the universe, where to now? Where am I meant to be? England is expensive. It's cold. I felt contracted. And so then I had dreams and synchronicities, and everything pointed to Australia. And that's how I said, okay, I'll go. I'll book a flight and I'll just check it out. And within a week, I knew that this was my soul home, that I needed to be here for that next journey of my own evolution. And one thing led to another, and I got a permanent residency. And then I discovered coaching in 2008. And
Okay.
I finally realized, at the age of however old I was, in my early 30s or mid 30s, I just then, it's like, okay, this is how I'm going to help people. This is how I'm going to fulfill that inner knowing that I've had all my life. So I studied coaching, NLP, timeline therapy, and I started really helping women to come on a journey to find their own empowerment, because that had been my journey. I've been knowing that I'm a leader, but feeling deeply shy, and in that being molded into that role of the good girl, I was often fighting this inner battle within myself, and to really claim that leadership. And I'd been trying to achieve it in the only way I knew, which was through pushing, and through pushing myself and pushing my body and moving into what I call the wounded masculine, doing it the old patriarchal way, trying to be that. And it just didn't work for me. And so when I then discovered my divine feminine essence and coming into more flow and more alignment with who I truly am, that's when things opened up and when I came more into my body. And so that's what I wanted to teach and pass on to my female clients. I then later, as you mentioned in the bio, brought Tantra into this, which is a beautiful way of connecting with self and connecting with others in an authentic way. I started running workshops and events all around Australia, and started speaking at Tantra festivals. And then COVID hit. And what I realized is, when in branding, you always say, stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stay in your lane and speak, your message. I didn't want to talk about authentic connection. And I was like, this is really interesting. I wanted to talk about leadership. I wanted to talk about the heart-centered leaders stepping up and really showing up in this time of great change that we're in right now, to show an alternative, to show a message, to tuning into ourselves so that we can really feel, what is my truth in all of this? Where do I need to be? And so that's what I wanted to talk about. And so I rebranded my business, recreated my website, and started really working with these heart-centered leaders who knew they were here to show up in this world in a really big way, just like I knew for myself, and to help them gain that inner trust, that inner confidence, by releasing what I really call that fear of persecution, that potentially even the memory of having been burnt at the stake, in past lives, because that has been very much part of my journey as well, to tapping into all of the different lives, and how is that informing this life. So that was the work. And then I had another divorce, or another separation, late 2020, and I was in no way ready to hold space for the problems or the challenges that others are going through. And then publishing came. So exactly a year ago, I decided that publishing of multi-author books was a way to bring those conscious leaders together and to help them claim their message in a deeper way, by giving them that external validation of being an international best-selling author, but also by helping them by having to write a chapter, to really get clear on their messaging. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm doing now, and I'm really happy and excited that in next week we're launching our third book.
Oh, wow. That's great. So it's a very, very impressive story. I very much can resonate with you, the way of, yeah, how you stepped into your power, being always the good girl, and then also, yeah, claiming your leadership. And I would like to know, on the way to becoming your own boss, basically, because it was not always the case. You were a freelancer before. How was that journey? Was it easy for you? Were there challenges that were in between that you had to overcome? Can you tell us a little bit about that time in life?
Yeah, so this was 2008, and it was a huge mind shift change that needed
Mhm.
to happen. huge. I knew nothing about business. I really had to learn business skills and learn about marketing. And to be honest, in the beginning, I was still in a scarcity mindset, like where I wanted to have the clients and I needed to have the clients. And that really went against me because people can feel that. We can feel when somebody needs your business and they say, no, she's not in her service, she's not aligned. So it took a while. And, to be honest, one of the best advices one of my mentors gave me, he said, take a part-time job. Don't try and just do it all at once.
Mhm.
Ease yourself into it so you do not ever need the money that your clients give you.
Yeah.
And then you can really be in service.
Yeah, so you have the feeling of abundance. That's what you need in order to give, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, yeah. So when we bring that all together in the here and now, what is your vision of being a publisher? And what is the mission that you're going
Mm.
for?
So the vision is to really, I see myself and my publishing house as a bridge from the old world into the new world,
Hmm.
from a world where the Piscean age into the Aquarian age, if we want to put those labels in. But what that really means is from a world that is authoritarian driven, where we're being told what to do, to a world that is more horizontal, where every individual is more their inner authority. And so that inner authority, that about the sovereignty, that's really my vision, to bring thought leaders together who are sharing this vision of creating a world where everyone is listening to their own truth, where we are freed from fears
Mhm.
so that we can truly relate to one another. Because, when we have all these layers of fears that are protecting us, we cannot authentically relate to one another. And that's creating all the problems that we're seeing in relationships, in business, everywhere. So imagine a world where there's no fear, where everybody just trusts their inner knowing and acts from that place. Because I know when I am in that place, magic happens, synchronicities happen, everything just opens up. When we're in that space of abundance, it's incredible. So that's what I want for the world. And my mission is really, to my publishing house is, I see it uniquely placed in that it brings together an awareness of personal development and publishing. So it's not just about, okay, let's make you an author, like a process driven thing. It's a whole experience.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. So that's your differentiation factor that differentiates you from other publishing houses. It's not only to publish a book, but it's really a personal development for your authors that you are bringing together.
Exactly. It's an up leveling. And no matter where they're at in their journey, whether they've been 2 years into their journey or whether they're developed their own methodology, they're already really established, but it's just stepping into their next level of their leadership. So it's wherever they're at on their journey, it's about really claiming that next level.
Okay, so you're providing this environment for that. And
Yes.
what makes the difference bringing you into this whole um, into the whole setting of being a publisher? So what are you offering with your unique characteristics, with your unique personality to that group of people, to the
Mm.
co-authors?
So what I'm offering is I'm bringing all of my background, all of my experience with me, and it's taken me a little while to figure out how do I do that.
Mm-hmm.
But so with my VIP clients, I sit together with them and we talk about, okay, what is your chapter going to be about? Who are you in your essence and what in relation to the theme? So for example, this next book is about, the book that's coming out on Friday is about intuitive living. What in your own journey, what are the benchmarks, the important steps that have helped you to tap into your own intuitive living? And so I tease that out and I ask them questions, and it literally sometimes turns into a coaching session where they make connections that they've never made before, simply because I have this ability to see the underlying patterns of people's lives and to bring it together and to kind of bring it to the surface, to crystallize it. and to share it with them so that they can then go away and write about that. And what always happens is the first draft that people write is about them.
Mhm.
It's about them because they just need to let it out. And then the second draft, we look at, okay, so now write it with your reader in mind. How is your story that you've now got out of your system? How is that really serving a reader? And which stories do we keep in? Which stories do we take out to really highlight that message? And so we have weekly meetings also where we create a sacred container for the contributors to come together and share their challenges, share their breakthroughs, share their aha moments. And that enriches everyone's journey through this. And it's so beautiful. Sometimes I bring in guest speakers so we can, experts on marketing, experts on how do you get on podcasts, how do you get on how do you write your own press releases. All of that is also included in the training in this program. So it becomes just a really beautiful experience, because what I want is for them to have people coming into their program. So it becomes a win-win for everyone with the new clarity that they have around their messaging.
I guess it's also beautiful to see how they are up leveling when they are going through this transition process of becoming an author or a multi book author, and personal development that is happening at the same time. I think that.
Exactly. And you know what? In the previous book, Collaboration, I had a lady who wrote about collaboration with spirit. She felt very safe in collaboration with self, but she knew that her path was to teach women about collaboration with spirit. And so she needed to walk her talk. And she said, yes, I'll put myself out there as that. And what happened as a result in her life was that she was challenged, that she got the opportunity to really trust
Mhm.
the co-creation with spirit. And as a result, she moved her family from Canada to Costa Rica and started running retreats there. And everything just opened up to her and everything came into flow. And she said to me, "Now, Krystal, I've up-leveled my consciousness through this process."
That's a
And
beautiful
that
story. All right. So you are also the host of your own podcast called Soul Leadership with Krystal Hille. So what can we expect from your podcast, and why did you start it?
So the reason I started it was to provide an additional platform for the contributors of my books to become visible, and an additional outlet to help them on that journey. Um, for me, it really is, we're talking about awakening. How do we awaken? How do we empower humanity? And how my guests are doing that in their own unique way. So that is the essence. And of course, soul leadership for me, it's all about coming into alignment with who we truly are. And so we speak about that. We speak about how do we align to our soul? How do we turn inward and listen to the inner voice instead of getting lost in the multiple contradicting voices of the external world? How can we truly align to our essence so that, as I said earlier, life can flow and we can step into that zone of flow where everything just opens up for us?
You have just started the bridge to my next question, because you said so beautifully you have to be in alignment of how we truly or who we truly are. And that brings me to my next question. You are a soul leadership coach, a retreat facilitator, and a publisher, and you are therefore also a woman thought leader, and you have this shining personal brand. I want to know from you now what this term personal brand means to you.
Mm. Really, personal brand to me means it's an extension of my personality. It's an externalization of colors and shapes and symbols, through the logo of who I am on the inside, and it's just expanding that. And I feel when I got my style sheet with my colors and my logo, that's when I could really see the identity of the what I've created, what I want to express in the world. It's still a different to me, but it's so connected. It's
Mm.
just an extension of who I am.
Yeah, the tangible part of what you are, who you are, and what makes you as a person. Yeah, that's so beautiful that you can translate that into a tangible part of your personal um, identity, your brand identity, through the
Yeah,
logo, through the
exactly.
colors, through everything, right? Yeah. And in being in alignment with who we truly are also means to be authentic. Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
So what it means to be authentic is not saying yes to everything and everyone. It's really knowing, no, this is not in alignment with where I'm going. No, this opportunity or whatever it is too much for me right now. I don't have energy for that. No, if I because as creatives especially, we have so many ideas. We could take our businesses into so many different directions, could do so many joint ventures. And it's really knowing what where is this, one of the contributors in my book calls it hell yes, living a hell yes life. Where is that hell yes? And if it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. And that's being authentic, and that's being true to who we are.
Mm, that's beautiful. Yeah, hell yes is claiming your power, is
Yes.
being courageous, stepping into it. That's hell yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you have any helpful advice of how we can strengthen our personal brand? Claim that leadership, this hell yes.
Yeah, do I have any advice? It's for me, what's really helping is to find moments in the day, especially in my morning, to be quiet, to just sit and be quiet and be still,
Mm,
and to hear what is alive inside of me.
mm,
And when I do that, I can hear my truth better. I can know what is aligned to me. Was that the question? I
yeah,
think I
yeah,
answered it. Can you
exactly.
ask it again?
Yeah.
But it's really the stillness to know what am I. Yeah.
And maybe in combination with writing a book, like a multi author book, can that in some way enhance a personal brand? Do you have advice?
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for creating that bridge for me. A multi-author book definitely can enhance your personal brand because you're putting yourself out there. You're putting, in essence, an aspect of your story out there. Just like, when we're doing a podcast, your people start to get to see you and get to know you and get to know your essence. And there are thousands of people who can read, these multi-author books if we market it properly. And what I always believe in is that it's the right people will come, the right people will see it, because if when we are really clear in our messaging, we radiate that out both energetically and through the practical tools of a book, which still I believe holds a lot of value. Being an international best-selling author is something that still means something. It gives additional credibility in with podcast hosts, but also um, in the media. And if people want to book you as for clients, they say, okay, she's established, she's done all of these things, or he's done all of these things, and this other person hasn't. So it actually really helps to draw people into your world, I find.
Mhm. So, when it comes to writing a book and someone wants to write a book, um, who are your specific who are your clients that you are serving? Is there a specific target audience you like to work with? So who should approach you when they want to write a book?
So it's the thought leaders who are working with human potential. It's the coaches, it's the healers, it's the holistic wellness practitioners, it's the conscious business coaches, it's the professionals who um, do whatever they do. Like even a branding expert can come to me, as long as there is a personal story that shows that you are really on path, that you're really listening to, that you're really empowered in who you are, that you are listening to your guidance. Because that's what I want. That's what it's all about. Is to inspire, to awaken, and empower humanity through whatever modality that is.
Mhm. Mhm.
If even artists, as long as they can inspire us to come into our inner power.
Mhm. So it's basically people who are already living their true self, who are already
Yes.
there, who have built their personal brand, who have yeah, reflected on themselves and understood why they are here on this earth and why they are, yeah, what they are serving,
Yes.
right? All right, good. So you're launching your book in February. That's your fourth book. Would you like to tell us a little bit about this book and yeah, where we are going to find it?
Yeah, absolutely. So intuitive living, a guide, it's a practical guide for women who want to deeply trust themselves. It's launching Friday, February 4th, and you can find it on Amazon and Kindle. And I'll be plastering the links to that all over social media on the day. So the links are not published yet because it's not live
Mhm,
yet. It launches
mhm,
on
mhm,
next Friday.
mhm,
So that is the third book, and we have the absolute pleasure to have Dr. John DiMartini contributing a chapter into that book as well. So this is an incredible enrichment of what everybody's bringing into this book. So I'm super excited to launch that next Friday. And then I have the fourth book is currently I'm inviting applications for that at the moment. It's a sequence to intuitive living, and it's called Inspired Living, and
mhm,
that's a guide to ignite joy and prosperity. So, because when we're living in our intuition, when we know what we stand for, we can then, as I said, inspiration comes, and we create more and more joy in our life, and in return, that also brings abundance and prosperity. So I'm looking for the people who, again, as you said, who have walked that walk, who know their brand. But I'm also aware, it's a journey of transformation, and even those who are already got their brand and who already have reflected on their life, if they want to go to that next level in of their transformation and step into that next level of their leadership, then this is a perfect book to do that with.
Okay, wonderful. So I will also put that into the show notes of the podcast, which is coming out then end of February. And yeah, so that people can directly go and purchase your book. Yeah, and I think we are already towards the end of our show, Krystal, and I would like to do a very quick word wrap with you. Are you ready to give me quick and short answers? Okay,
Absolutely.
good. So I have the term consciousness for you.
Expansion,
Okay. Women,
flow, and beauty.
soul leadership.
Alignment and joy.
God. And brands,
Expression.
expression. That's good. I love that. Krystal, thank you so much. For listeners, how would they connect with you?
Well, the best way to connect is through Facebook, is where I am always on. Like Facebook Messenger is a great one. Um, of course, my website, krystalhille.com, where they can find out more about both my coaching, but also the books. Yeah. And there's many other channels, but I think it's best to just tell them, go here, go to the website, and you can contact me through that or find me on Facebook.
Absolutely. So I will put everything into the show notes. So great. Krystal, thank you so much for being my guest today on BrandsTalk. It really was exciting to learn about how you share your wisdom with the world more powerfully and to become kind of a conscious entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Krystal. Thank you
Mm,
all. Thank you
it's been
all.
a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was
Also,
really
thank you as
interesting
well.
in the conversation with you about all of that. It really opens up your mind, and I hope there might be future authors out there who are interested writing their next book with you. So, thank you all for joining BrandsTalk today. Please give it your social love and leave your comments below. Did you know you can also listen to this show as a podcast on your go? So just follow BrandsTalk on your favorite platform. If you are interested in learning more about my services, head over to BridgetteBrands.com. I hope you will join me again when we dive into the world of brands live or by having me in your earbuds walking the talk. Bye for now. Let's shine. You deserve it.